Hi. I thought it would go best if I just pre-recorded this for everybody. So let me just go through my little presentation, the basic of what's important in the classroom. A couple ways, things you should know is that contacting me on Class Dojo is the best way to contact me. It comes on my phone like a text. If you have any questions about Class Dojo, feel free to come in the office and Miss Heather can help you, or I'd be happy to help you. But for me, it's like a text. So throughout the day, I can see what you guys are saying, and I can do immediate responses most of the time. I do live in Idlewild, so evenings get a little tricky for me. I have a 10th grader at Hemet High, so I do my best in the evenings. But like I said, when you send me things even in the middle of the day, it shows up on my phone like a text. So it's a great way for me to be able to respond to you. Some of my goals to go over tonight is just the goals for fifth grade. I wanted to show you the basic curriculum in the classroom and what that looks like, and what we will be doing in the classroom. I'm going to show you our behavior expectation chart. I got a couple things of additional information. Our goals in fifth grade, in all of fifth grade, for every single class, actually, they're all doing the same presentation. We are very synchronous as far as what we're doing in each classroom in fifth grade. So overall, in all of fifth grade, the goals are to prepare your child academically for middle school. We hope to reinforce independency, which I know will be trickier this year after a year of them being online. We're really trying to get them to understand that they are responsible for their own learning, and they're the one who really should be driving their education. We hope to promote a growth mindset, which is just the mindset that your brain can grow. You are not limited in how smart you can be, or limited, like we just really don't like the whole I quit, or I can't do this, or I'll never be smart. We really try to promote the idea that you are the one driving your mindset and what makes you continue to go forward. And responsibility. And by promoting responsibility, that you've probably seen it in the planners already. We're really trying to get them to understand they're responsible for their work, and they are responsible for the consequences of not doing their work. So in all of fifth grade, we're really doing our best to get your student ready to go to middle school. And yes, this year it is a little more of a challenge than it was in the past. In essence, I have quite a few students who are basically mid-year third graders and haven't done a whole lot of education since then. So, or their education has been very spotty and just atypical since then. So obviously the goal is to do everything we can to get your student ready to step onto that middle school campus with an awareness of how they can do their best. Okay, our daily schedule looks a lot like this. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday are the same every day. Wednesday is a little different. It's when we tend to bring in social studies and science. We'll do Genius Hour, we'll have enrichment, art, things like that happen on a Wednesday. A couple of key points to notice is that we have PE for my class on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Thursdays during this time, we would go to the library. So you see there's quite a bit of time in the mornings to work on language arts. We are really focusing on literacy. Every student's literacy is one of our number one priorities this year. So there's quite a bit of time, but it's not all teachers speaking at you, typical classroom where a teacher's standing in front of you and every student has a book open. It's much more groups rotating. This group is working on word work while this group is on the computer analyzing what we read. And then I would have a small group at the small group table with me, and there would be another group that's, editing their writing or something like that. So it looks like a lot of language arts on here, but it really is a small whole group lesson and then a whole bunch of what we call centers, and they would rotate through centers: language, writing, reading deeper into the thing that the whole lesson was on and focusing a little more on that. Probably something related to, I said language, writing, word work, because we really want to focus on phonics and literacy, and a small group meeting with the teacher that is leveled. So I will have these small groups that are leveled based on their literacy, where they're at currently. And like I said, Wednesdays look a little different. Please remember that Wednesdays we get out of school at 12:09. If you're anything like me, you've forgotten already. I forget times, but I'm just a reminder. Wednesdays we get out early at 12:09. Okay. Behavior expectations. Hopefully you have seen this planner come home every day. In the morning, the students come straight in. When they come in the classroom, they open their planner and I check for a parent signature. So I have a pretty good idea that most of you have seen this planner. You should see it filled out every single day with the things that we did from the day. And their behavior is noted right on there. So a couple things to note is students aren't allowed to have cell phones in the classroom. If they have a cell phone, the expectation is that it's either off and in their backpack, or I allowed them to turn it off and I don't touch it, but I give them a spot where they can set it down without using it during the day, because I know in your backpack outside in the sun can fit, because the backpacks sit outside the window and sometimes it's in the sun. So I will let them have a place to set it. I can't take responsibility for what happens once they set it there, but it is a spot in my classroom where students don't come back and forth. They don't walk past it. It's just sitting on the desk. And then at the end of the day, the student gets it back if that's what they want, but they cannot turn it on during the day. And dress code, just to mention, we're going to make sure we have running shoes for PE day. We're going to make sure that we don't have any sandals without a strap on the back. Young ladies should not be wearing shirts that, young men too. Nobody should be wearing a shirt that doesn't have that doesn't cover their midriff. So we're making sure our shirts go all the way down to the bottom of our shorts. There isn't too much of an they're not that specific about like short shorts, but be aware that sometimes shorts can be too short and inappropriate for an elementary school setting, and they will be sent to the office to give you a call or find a way to solve the problem. Students earn dojo points. Once they get 25 dojo points, it's like cash that they get to go up to the office and buy things from the Viking prize cart. It's pretty fun and pretty awesome. And they get dojo points for doing their homework. As we go throughout the year, I'll add more ways, but like planner signed, so far they've been getting dojo points for planner signed. Good behavior. There can be negative dojo points. You can, if a student is constantly blurting out, they may get a dojo point, negative dojo point for constantly blurting out or failing to fill out their planner. There's been students who haven't gotten their planner signed for a whole week. There can be negative dojo points for that. So the great thing here is it says instant parent guardian awareness, is because you are, like I said, it's an app on your phone, Dojo is, and you can see how the day is going. So it kind of eliminates a lot of that. How was the day? What do I need to be aware of? Because the Dojo points, I try to make them very specific. Constant learning out, planner signed, whatever is good or bad. I try to make the points very specific, unless it's a general thing like on task or, helping others or something like that. We also have a classroom clip chart. It's just a chart that says great, good, warning, loss of recess, parent contact office, which is the same as what the planner says. One thing I want to make sure is perfectly clear is that every student starts on good. Not, especially at the beginning of the year, not very many students move up to great. Good is the average expectation. So in general, students will be on good. So I certainly want you to know that nobody's in trouble for not being on great ever. Great is like way above expectation. Great is a standout behavior. And sometimes the whole class will move to great. Often it's just one or two. Warning usually comes after a constant verbal warnings. Like today, for example, Students went and got a drink like a couple minutes after the bell rang. We were already in line, and they just randomly ran out of line and got a drink. And I personally had duty and told everybody, make sure you get a drink before the bell rings. Like I walked up to all the groups and told them, 3 minutes till the bell rings, go get a drink. And these students chose to go get a drink when our class was about to walk inside. So it's not that they can't get a drink, but they were warned several times. So they moved their clip down one from good to warning. So it was just a warning. And I also want to make that clear. Students should not be in trouble for not being great. And students really shouldn't, at home, I wouldn't encourage like severe discipline for them getting warning, because a warning is just a warning. Now, if your student starts going down to loss of recess and parent contact and office, obviously that's when I'd love your intervention and your support in those behaviors being corrected both at school and at home. Loss of recess does mean they will lose a recess or most of their recess. And so again, just a reminder that warning shouldn't equal major trouble at home, unless of course you're seeing warning every day. Then you know that your child has been warned every day, because all the clips reset on good. If you ever have any questions about that, by all means, let me know. So it, like I said, it's average to be on good, and it's average for 1 or 2 students to go down to warning and 1 or 2 students to go up to great. But a student is not misbehaving if they're not on great. And warning is only a warning. It is not, it shouldn't come with major consequences. And I just want to let you know that, because I know you're trying to support me. And so I wanted to make sure you knew that I don't expect major consequences for warning at home. I'm going to go through this just really fast. Our language arts curriculum is called Benchmark Advanced. You've probably seen it in the past. It's a little, actually, I'm going to go grab it. It's a booklet. Looks like a little like paper magazine. So we are using this for our language arts curriculum. And we do take our tests based on what's taught through this. But like I said, this year we are really focusing on literacy. And I know that as a group, because of last year being such a challenging year, there may be a lot less focus on a big 5th grade lesson and more focus on the needs of each individual student. So that's why we're doing all those rotations. But this is our benchmark curriculum. Every day your students will be doing graphic organizers, which is a piece of paper where they fill out the different things that are asked of them. They will be doing writer's workshop slides that walk them through the writing process. They will be filling out grammar sheets. You'll see a lot of like spelling. The spelling and language lessons are always based on an actual phonics skill and sounding out words and understanding spelling patterns. Grammar, would be when to put in commas, what a prepositional phrase is, practicing using punctuation, stuff like that. And we will always, every day, do a cursive, an editing, and a 5 a day. It's just students practicing cursive, students practicing editing skills, which is awesome because then they become more aware of when to correct their writing. And then 5 a day is what it's called, but it's basically like a grammar sheet where they are learning basic skills. Again, commas, when to capitalize, how to use Latin and Greek root words, stuff like that. So these are daily must-dos, but not at home. Usually it would only ever become homework if they did not finish it during school hours. So I'm not expecting, most of this is not something they will do at home unless they didn't finish it in class. And that's when, if you're seeing your student often come home with things that seem challenging as a homework or not the homework that I'm going to talk about later, then it's because they aren't finishing the stuff we're doing in class. Math is Eureka Math. These are the basic modules that we go over. So we'll do decimals. We will do multi-digit, whole number, and fraction operations. That sounds so complicated, but basically we're going to like add, subtract, multiply decimals. They need to know their basic math facts. They need to be fluent at multiplication facts. So that's why right now the biggest practice is going to be practicing our math facts, because if we're learning how to multiply multi-digit multiplication, like a two digit by 2 digit, they have to know 7 times 9 in a hurry in order to gain the skills they need to later do the 5th grade skills like adding and subtracting with decimals, or multiplying with fractions, that if their fluency isn't there, it becomes a lot trickier. And throughout the year, there's a lot of interventions for the students who are struggling. But at home, the biggest support I could get is starting with being fluent in multiplication. So at the dollar store, there's flashcards. Online, there's tons of games that the kids can practice multiplication. There's tons of gaming. In Google Classroom, I have tons of games provided to them that they can game with and get better at multiplication. And every night they have a dry erase sheet that is a multiplication chart, and within 3 minutes they should be able to fill that out. That's the goal, is within 3 minutes they can fill out a multiplication chart. They all have one in their binder right now with a dry erase. They're able to do a multiplication chart. So if you haven't seen your student doing that yet, that should be happening at homework. And then basic expectations is that their planners are written in and signed every day, and that the binders go home daily. Every once in a while, there'll be days where I let them leave the binder home because here at school, because I know we're not using it, but we're trying to teach them how to be what's called avid students, meaning that they're ready for middle school. We're trying to give them the skills they need to be organized to be successful in middle school and high school, and obviously on to college readiness. In class, if you're interested in donating anything and you wanted to help out, some of our biggest needs are tissues. They have them in the office, but they're super stiff and papery and run out fast. So tissues are always a need. Dry erase markers are one of my biggest needs, especially those smaller pencil ones, not the big fat ones. But we do a lot of math practice straight on our desks because our desks are dry erase top. So dry erase markers are big time needs. Your student needs a couple pencil-sized dry erase markers. If I have extra and they're here in the classroom, then if I had a lot, I would give them out. But otherwise, I could sell them for a quarter a piece, and then students start learning a responsibility to hold on to them. Donations of cases of water would be awesome. I sell water here in the classroom for 50 cents. I don't keep any of the profits. I use the money for if we had a field trip, it helps cover some of the costs, or maybe students who can't afford it, or backpacks for students who can't afford it, or it in some way comes back to the grade level. So it certainly isn't something I'm trying to profit off of. But like I said, I live in Idlewild. The more donations of water I have, the easier it is for me to keep that thing that I'm able to provide for the students. Sticky notes we use a lot in the classroom. Put your idea on a sticky note and come put it on the board. Complete this sentence and everybody compare yours to theirs. So we use sticky notes often in class. It's hard for me to have enough for everybody. I had a stack like this, and by the time I'm done with the week, I'm out of sticky notes. So sticky notes are always something I could use. And I have a prize box. The students earn prizes. If you're ever interested, I'd love prize box donations, which could be cool stickers or, pokey, some of those things that they're interested in playing with. Small slinkies, squishy balls or something like that. I wanted to remind you to please pack an extra mask in their backpack. That way, if they drop theirs out on the playground and it got smashed in the mud or something, they're not stuck wearing a dirty mask. Or if for whatever reason they got out of the car and made it all the way to the classroom with no mask, if they have an extra one, maybe in their pencil pouch or something like that, then they can go through the day. I haven't seen it be a major issue, but I think it would be wise to just keep an extra backpack. And then finally, the students have been given supplies. They were all given a binder, and inside every student binder is a pencil pouch. Inside the pencil pouch, they were already given 3 pencils, a highlighter, they were given a dry erase marker. They've been given it's just a little fabric for actually erasing. They've been given a glue stick. They've been given a red folder for taking home parent communication. They've been given I know you've seen the giant binder. Inside the binder, there are tabs for separating by subject. So if a student were to lose something, especially dry erase markers, I don't have extras as of right now because I've given every dry erase marker I have out. Students are responsible for replacing their own Avid supplies. So even if this binder breaks, that's when the one that you may have bought over the summer comes back into play. So I'm going to stop this recording and now open our Google Meet up for questions.